If you want a Bluetooth surround sound speaker that is portable, splittable, and has booming audio quality, all for a big discount, stick around at the end of the show because I've got a promo code just for you. I've learned a lot from evaluating quarterbacks over the years, both when it comes to the ones that I got right and when it comes to the many that I got wrong. I thought Patrick Mahomes would be a huge project coming out of Texas Tech with his erratic gunslinger play style, and I didn't think that he was worth the risk of a top 10 pick. But next thing you know, Andy Reid figured out how to turn that gunslinger into a super efficient killing machine within his first 2 years. I also had concerns about Russell Wilson's size coming out of Wisconsin in 2012, even though I loved everything else about him. And of course, over the last 9 years, he's been consistently one of the best quarterbacks of his generation, while his size and durability have never been an issue. Hell, even just 2 years ago, I expressed some reservations about Lamar Jackson's development as a passer throughout his rookie season, only for him to then show up in year 2 and light the league on fire as a completely different player than the one we saw before. Quarterback is an extremely hard position to project with a nearly unlimited number of factors that can determine a prospect's success or failure. And truth be told, I'm always probably going to get just as many projections wrong as I get right for that reason alone. But because of all my own successes and failures in the past, and because of the things that I've learned from every single one of them, I think that I can now confidently say this about Joe Burrow's future in the NFL. He shares the exact same traits that makes all of those superstar quarterbacks that I missed on so great in the first place. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, all of them. All three of those MVP caliber players that I whiffed on for one reason or another, they all share one defining commonality that is more important than any physical trait. When a play breaks down, they make those broken plays work. People like to talk about all of the great receivers that played with Burrow at LSU, or the great protection he saw in the pocket, and sure, to a degree that matters, but if I've learned anything over the last 10 years, it's that if all of your receivers are breaking records, and all of your offensive linemen are winning awards, and all of your coaches are getting promoted to bigger and better jobs after only one season, and the connection that all of those people share in their success is a quarterback that can pull miracles out of his ass whether everyone else does their job or not, then yeah, the guy that's throwing the ball is probably pretty special. Make no mistake about it, Joe Burrow was an amazing quarterback when everything was going right and receivers were getting open, or protection was good, or play calls were perfect, but he was even better when everything went wrong. In fact, per my favorite analytics website out there, Sports Info Solutions, out of the roughly 17 quarterbacks in this class that are likely to be drafted, Burrow is the only one whose passer rating actually went up when he was under pressure. The average passer rating under pressure out of this entire class was 80.3, but Burrow's was a staggering 143.2. The average passer rating drop from no pressure to under pressure was 30.2 points, but Burrow's went up by 5.8. That is almost unprecedented efficiency to make plays work that really shouldn't have, and that's why his success while under pressure is so important, because that's the one quality that all great quarterbacks share, regardless of what else is in their skill set. Before I really get into trying to make that intangible it factor, as they call it, well, tangible, I have to break down all of the components to Burrow's game that help him be so ridiculously good under pressure. Because, of course, as you've come to learn with all things on this show, there's a lot of layers to this stuff. First things first, Burrow is an exceptionally accurate passer when it comes to ball placement. He has a remarkable ability to throw his receivers open and help them still be productive against tight coverage, and he's particularly deadly on vertical routes against man coverage when DBs have their backs turned to him. When corners can't see and track the throw as it's coming down, Burrow almost always just puts the ball high and on the receiver's back shoulder, where there's almost nothing the defender can do to stop it, no matter how well they're positioned in coverage. Obviously, it should be acknowledged that Burrow had multiple first-round talents at receiver to work with, nobody's denying that, but honestly, a lot of the production that those first-round receivers had would not have even been possible without Burrow giving them perfect passes to beat perfect coverage. It's not crazy to say that he elevated the talent around him and not the other way around. Secondly, beyond just being accurate, Burrow also plays with excellent anticipation and eye discipline that really reflects his experience playing basketball growing up, where he was an all-state point guard in Ohio. Just like other great passing point guards like Steve Nash and Chris Paul, Burrow doesn't read individual defenders or receivers, he reads movement and space. You will almost never catch him staring down receivers or locking in on his pre-snap read because that's just not how he reads defenses. Most of the time after he takes the snap, he's got his eyes locked down the middle of the field, looking at safety rotations or how linebackers are dropping because he's looking for space. He already knows where his receivers are going to end up. He doesn't have to watch them run their routes to see where they're going to be, unless it's an option route, of course. So the vast majority of the time, he's just reading the space that they're going to be in instead. Take a look at this play against Oklahoma as an example. As soon as the ball is snapped, watch Burrow's eyes. He's staring right down the middle so that he can catch both of these safeties rotating to the field side to get into a cover 6 cloud zone look, while Kenneth Murray drops out from the line of scrimmage to get into a weak hook zone area within that cover 6 defense. Now, if Burrow fell into a trap here that a lot of other young quarterbacks do, and if he tried to read each defender individually to process what coverage they were in so that he could try to move through his progressions, he would be overloaded. He'd probably get sacked long before he could make a decision, and that's why so many young quarterbacks struggle against coverage rotations like this one, because they don't know how to feel it and read it efficiently. Hence the old adage, the game moves too quickly for them. But for Burrow, he just gets it. He already has the same innate understanding that many veteran quarterbacks take years to develop, that after the ball is snapped, it's less about reading coverages to make your decisions and more about just reading space. It almost doesn't matter what the label of the coverage is or what your progression rules dictate you do against a cover 6 versus a cover 2 versus match quarters. If there's vacated space, there's vacated space. So Burrow just feels that rotation naturally and throws to that vacated space to meet his receiver there with the ball. It's almost a more rhythmic, instinctual feel for the game than it is just pure intelligence, and honestly, playing quarterback at a high level really is more about instinct than intelligence sometimes. You can be the smartest guy on the field before the ball touches your hands, but if you take 4 seconds to process a coverage because your instincts suck, well, you're probably not going to be very good. Some guys have it and some guys don't, but Joe Burrow definitely has it. Now, that's not to say that he's playing entirely on instinct, though, or that he's not super smart before the snap, because he is. It's just that his pre-snap intelligence is what helps him to develop his post-snap instincts in the first place. Let's go back to that Oklahoma game again, because I think there's an interesting series of plays that demonstrates this concept really well. This is from late in the first quarter on 2nd and 10, and in order to spread the defense out and get a better picture of what the Sooners are going to do, Burrow motions his running back out wide to get into a 3x2 empty set. Because this linebacker follows the running back out wide on that motion, that right there is a pre-snap indicator for man coverage, in addition to of course having 3 cap defenders on 3 receivers to the strong side. On the weak side, there is a potential inside-out bracket here on Justin Jefferson as well, but the more likely scenario, assuming that this is indeed man coverage after all, is that one of these DBs will be rotating to the deep middle of the field with their back turned away from Jefferson because they have to sprint inside to the middle of the field to get to their spot. If there is no bracket, and if this is a one-on-one situation with either of these DBs, that means Jefferson is going to have a leverage and positioning advantage way down the field on this slot fade concept, with a ton of open grass to work with, no safety over the top, and plenty of room for Burrow to lead him with a perfect throw. So, in short, to make a complex explanation as simple as possible, unless OU is pulling something crazy here and giving false coverage indicators before the snap, Burrow knows that post-snap, he's probably already got this fade to Jefferson for a touchdown. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that he knew this was a TD before the ball even hit his hands because his pre-snap intelligence informed his post-snap instincts. All he had to do was just keep his eyes locked down the middle of the field to spot the rotation away from Jefferson and then pull the trigger to give Jefferson a good ball that leads him to the pylon. By Burrow's standards, at least, this was one of his easiest touchdown passes of the season, and that speaks a lot to why he's special, because again, it's all just easy for him. Whether protection is good or bad, whether the read is simple or complicated, or whether he's throwing to a future first rounder or a guy that may end up on a practice squad, Burrow makes it look easy. This is the last play that I want to show because it demonstrates everything that we've talked about today all in one pass. Pre-snap reads, post-snap instincts, mobility in and out of the pocket, and throwing receivers open to turn broken plays into good ones. All of that is on display here. This was a couple of drives after that last touchdown to Jefferson, and again, LSU is lined up in a 3x2 empty set. OU is also showing man coverage once again with that linebacker on a running back out wide and 3 capped on 3 to the strong side, with potentially another bracket look on the weak side number 2 as well. So it's literally an identical pre-snap look to the last one, just flipped to the other side of the field. This time though, LSU is not running double slot fades, and instead they've got a smash switch call on with smash to the strong side and a switch concept to the weak side. If this weak side safety rotates yet again away from these two receivers like he did last time, theoretically that will give Ja'Marr Chase a nice window behind that rotation to come free on his post route. Or, worst case scenario, just give Jefferson yet another one-on-one with outside leverage for another deep shot on the fade. Either way, Burrow is expecting to see that same weak side rotation in a man coverage look because that's what OU did last time when presented with this same formation. However, despite the fact that everything here is indicating man coverage yet again, Oklahoma is not actually in man. Instead, they're bailing to a cover 3 match zone with only a 3-man rush. Some coaches call this cover 3 tent, and the rotation to the deep middle is not coming from the free safety like usual, but actually from the strong safety. All of this different rotation and all of these zone defenders sitting in throwing lanes with their eyes on Burrow means that the space he was expecting to see open up is no longer actually there, and combined with the fact that he's also getting pressured off the right edge early means that he has to go into improv mode to rescue this play from immediate failure. Watch him escape the rush out the front door and then immediately flatten that escape angle to take him wide rather than just running up the field. Keep in mind that it's only second down here. He could just run for a few yards if he wanted to and take an easy gain to set up third and medium, but that's not how he's wired. Burrow is always thinking touchdown first, run second, so he flattens that angle to buy himself some time to scan down the field and eventually make a throw. Now, as Burrow escapes, he sees the boundary corner carrying Ja'Marr Chase inside on the post route instead of splitting both routes vertically, which means the post is off the table. There's just no good window for it. But because that boundary corner is not running deep down the boundary to split those routes, and because the free safety is essentially playing trail technique here on Justin Jefferson with his back turned to Burrow, Joe knows that he can treat this like any other back shoulder fade that he would throw against a man coverage look, which, as you saw earlier, he's obviously very, very good at. While on the run, Burrow makes an amazing throw here to turn Jefferson to his back shoulder and protect the ball high and outside, and honestly, even if the free safety was in a better position, there was probably nothing he could have done to stop this anyway because it was simply too perfect of a throw to cover. I mean, OU's defense played this about as well as they possibly could have, but even then, it wasn't enough. They switched up their looks, they got pressure, they didn't make it an easy read or an easy throw, but Burrow still ripped their hearts out, and that is why he's special. It's not just the accuracy, it's not just the intelligence or the mobility or the instincts, it's the fact that he still has all of those traits to elevate his offense even when the defense is perfect. Good quarterbacks are good when everything goes right, but great quarterbacks are great even when everything goes wrong. That's why Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Lamar Jackson are unique. That's why Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. That's why the broken Eagles made the playoffs behind Carson Wentz, and why Deshaun Watson keeps the Texans competitive despite Bill O'Brien's best efforts to get in the way. They all elevate their teams beyond what they were capable of before. I've learned so much over the years about how to evaluate QBs, but by far my biggest lesson was this. Never pick your quarterback based on how well he stays on script. Anybody can do that when they have good pieces around them. Instead, pick your guy based on how well he does when that script is thrown out the window. When bullets are flying and when plays break down instantly, that is when you truly see what they are made of. That is when you can watch them either fail miserably or carry their teams to greatness. MVP caliber quarterbacks come in all shapes, sizes, and skill sets, but no matter what, one way or another, they all carry their teams. If there's one thing that I can say about Joe Burrow today, if there's one reason that I know for sure he's going to be a franchise quarterback, it's that no matter how bad things get, no matter how hard he has to carry the roster around him to fight his way to a win, he will make it work. How do I know that? Well, let's just say that I learned from my mistakes. Thank you for watching this week's episode, and of course thank you to our sponsor for the week, Kove Audio. You may remember Kove making a few appearances on this channel before with their excellent commuter Bluetooth speaker, and they're back now again with a new and improved version of that speaker, the Commuter 2.0. The new Commuter still has the same booming audio quality as the last version. It can still connect to any smartphone, tablet, or Bluetooth-enabled desktop or laptop. It still has a range of 32 feet to play from whatever device you connect it to, and it still has that long-lasting 7-hour battery life on only a single charge. But what's really great about this one is that Kove has re-engineered the Commuter 2.0 to be able to split into 2 separate speakers that you can put anywhere you want. That means if you want a true surround sound effect, you can put one speaker on one side of the room and the other speaker opposite of it, or maybe each speaker in multiple different rooms for more ambient sound around your home, or in different areas of your yard as you're working out back, or even in your bathroom as you're getting ready in the morning. I mean, you could do whatever you want with it, but having that flexibility of being able to get 2 speakers in one is really awesome, and I've definitely enjoyed using it around my house ever since Kove sent me one just before it launched. If you are also in the market for a Bluetooth speaker that is not only great quality, but also really versatile, Kove is hooking up every single film room viewer that is interested in trying it out with a 65% discount code on the Commuter 2.0, bringing that price all the way down to $70. Again, that is a $130 discount just for using my promo code BK65 at the link in the description below. And I've used Kove speakers myself for literally 2 years now, and I continue to advertise for them because I genuinely love the product. So I recommend you give them a chance yourself because I don't think you're going to regret it. Again, if you're interested in this, if you want a Bluetooth speaker, hit that promo code BK65, check out Kove at the link below, and go get that discount.